Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, welcome back to the Drawing Board, episode 12. We are back and have a banger lined up for you guys. Our guest today is not someone who even needs an introduction, but he is the winner of the 2019 Prime Minister Award for Teaching, the Canada National Excellence Award, the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal, the USA College Board Diversity Award, the USA NCWIT Educator Award, and recently the McEwen Family Teacher Recognition Award from the University of British Columbia. Ladies and gentlemen, Saeed El-Mejadani.
Wow. Mr. Said, do you want to do a quick intro on yourself as well? I know you're super accomplished, but tell the people a bit more about yourself.
It's very short. I'm a teacher. I love my job. I love serving my students the best way and preparing them for the future in the field that I teach, which is computer science. I'm a, I'm a dad of three kids. I'm happy to see kids growing up and learning and being very, very successful. So for me, it's something that I want to offer to any of my students.
Awesome. So just to start, do you want to just tell us a little bit about your journey to teaching from you, like coming back when you were in Morocco and kind of your journey through early education and what made you decide to try to become a teacher?
Okay, what pushed me to become a teacher? I'm coming from a family of teachers. My dad was a French teacher. He's retired now. Every single one in my family were five siblings. Every single one is a teacher except my youngest brother. We tell him that he's the traitor because he's architect. So teaching is something that I grew up and for me it's something when I see the benefit of helping others and helping students. So I really like this profession and this not only as a career but also as a way to change the world, way to make things better. So that's. I start my journey in Morocco. I get my bachelor degree and a bachelor in education in Morocco, and I start my journey in teaching as a math teacher. I teach there for 8 years. Then I came here as a migrant to Canada. I done a master degree and 4 year research in computer science, and I was also teaching at University of Sherbrooke for the computer graphics. And from there, I came to Fort McMurray to teach math and science in French. I was dreaming about teaching computer science. It took time from 2007 to 2015 when I started the first computer science class.
So your original degree, like you mentioned, was in math. So was computer science something you were always interested in, or was it something that like later on in life you kind of picked up?
When I came to Canada, I was having two streams. I could go to math, and there was already a background in math, and math would be the easy choice,
Hmm.
the normal choice, because when you have a bachelor degree in math and you want to continue master degree, it's better to continue with the things you already trained for.
Yeah.
But I didn't make an easy choice. I was looking at the computer science as something intriguing me and something that I want to go there because it's something good for the future. So that's why I choose computer science instead.
Usually when teachers like become professors at universities, they continue on the university path. What led you to like high school instead?
I wasn't having a full position as a professor at university. I was teaching course and being paid by course I was teaching, and it wasn't really good, economically very viable. I had a son, and my family grew up, and the need of the family grew up, and I was really kind of suffering financially. So I just okay, I'm going to find a more stable job with more better income. So that's
We're
what.
glad you did that.
Yeah.
And after, just for the record, like 3 or 4 years ago, I received a job offer as a full position at the same university I was in, and I just declined it.
Wow.
Wow.
So
What went into that decision?
hmm?
What went into that decision?
From that time to now, lots of things change. I love my job. I love what I'm doing. I'm making difference for my students, and for me, it doesn't mean anything to make this change.
So what specifically is it about like high school teaching that you were really drawn to? You said that you didn't enjoy it as much as, I mean, apart from the economic part, your within university, some of the things maybe that you were drawn to within high school, having that smaller class size, the more intimate connection with students was something you were drawn to?
Okay, here we are going to go to my philosophy for teaching, and so first, I think that's the top of the curve of innovation and creativity for a kid is not the university age.
Wow.
It's the teenage age. And equipping students with tools to give very good potential and push to their creativity and innovation must be done way before the university age. So for me, preparing a kid since grade 4 or grade 7 and giving them the right tool to create and to innovate will make them way more successful if we wait until they are 18 and come into first year university and starting their journey. So that's what I believe. That's believe that's starting younger in the computer science field specifically, it's something that it's a key for success. It's all about languages. If you want to teach your kid or anyone English or Spanish or German, are you going to wait until he's 18 to start him, or are you going to teach him when he's very young?
You, speaking of languages, you used to teach French as well, right?
I used to teach in French, so I used to
In
teach
French.
math, physics, chemistry, science, but all in French language because
Do
French
you
is
think,
my second language.
do you think your ability to teach in multiple languages actually helped your ability to teach computer science as well? Because a lot of computer science is just like learning a different language.
It's all about language. Because when you see the difficulties that people get with languages, doesn't matter if they are computer science or human being language, you see that there is a lot of common things. Language, if somebody come and tell you, okay, you are going to learn this language in 1 week, nobody, it's a scam. Nobody would believe that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's computer science or language take time, language take effort, language take, but also language take the willingness to learn and the practice. Language is matter of practice. So, is it Python language or French or German or whatever language? If you are not practicing, you are not going forward. So that's for me the keys, and all starts with one thing. It's the learner, the student. Is he inspired enough to go and to learn this language?
Mm.
Is he inspired enough to make it his journey for every single day and go forward with that? And I think that's my job as a teacher when I see this going down to try to push it up, and doesn't matter what the tool, talking, encouraging, making the environment more helping for the success is something that I think it's my biggest job, not being at the front and giving lectures. Some stuff are way more important than that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so
Um,
over your time, like within high school, like what are some of like the philosophies you've developed to try to breed that innovative mindset and try to inspire students? Because obviously, like as a teacher, it's something that doesn't come to naturally to a lot of teachers, at least from my experience, or I guess most students' experiences. Teachers don't often have that bone within them to develop that curiosity within students. So, what are some things you've found over the years teaching that's help you breed that innovation?
Okay, there is I could tell you like four keys, very important for that. First things, if you don't like me, you will never learn from me. If we don't have a very empathic, good relationship, things will not go forward that far. We need to have a positive environment in the class,
Right.
and that's very important. That's for me. It's every single day I'm thinking about how to make it positive, how to put a smile in the face, and try to make those kids come to computer science with a smile in the face and happy to come and to learn. And that's for me is very important. The empathy component is very key. The second key is failure is not a problem. We learn from our failure. If I stop at the okay, you done this, you could you fail, goodbye. My class will not be the same. If something is wrong, that's where we start working together. That's where we try to find solution. That's where we are going to try to find support. And if I could not even provide support, I will try to outreach to any people who could be supported to make this failure change to success. So for me, it's failure is not the end. Failure is the start. The third component, it's the product oriented. When students do things and when he's learning and seeing what he's learning is creating, the learning will go forward. When I'm doing things and I don't have idea about why I'm learning them and where it's going, so it's not that good. And the fourth component, and for me that's also very very important, is as important as the empathy. It's the freedom.
Mm.
When students come to you and want to learn, if I come here and I tell him, okay, you do this project for me, okay, I from A to Z, this is concrete, you do this or you fail. I rather sit and talk to the kid, and if he have a better idea or anything that he like to do, I would rather go with what he like to do than imposing him what I like. And for me, as long as the learning is there, there is no issue. There is no problem. But I think the most important thing is that when the students have idea and take it from A to Z and wow about it, that's the most important in our profession.
Yeah, and digging into that a little bit more, I've noticed that your teaching style is a lot about resource aggregation and trying to find the right resources for your students and providing them with those over just sitting in the class and teaching all the time. And you're one of the best in the world at it, and you've won awards for it as well. Can you give advice to other teachers or people who are looking to teach of how to get connected in the space that they want to teach in and how to find the right resources similar to how you have in the past?
Okay, there is two different views here. Some people think that it takes a teacher to teach. In my opinion, it takes the whole village to teach a kid. We need everybody input. That's why, uh, as your experience being in my class, outreaching to other people, other experts, bringing real experts to the class virtually or really, and making those connections are as important. Like me bringing Mr. Borges talking about cybersecurity is way more important than to have a lecture about cybersecurity from somebody who is not an expert. And we need to see our limit. Like we could do a lot of things, but some people are way more and well equipped to help. And if we could bring this expertise to the classroom, and when the teacher become the facilitator and the coach and in our field of computer science, nobody knows it all. There is different area and it's very diverse. So there is no problem to recognize, okay, this field I could not give much to my students, I want the best to come and to give them what's better for them. And that's for me that's really important. So the connection that we created even for cybersecurity with Mr. Borges, or in with Alta ML, Alta Machine Learning, or with Amazon through the Amazon Feature Engineering, or with other experts, with lots of people. I think in 1 year I remember that we had like 40 guests coming to the class
Wow.
in one single year. And that's just and that was physically coming to the class, not even virtually. We talk about people who actually came to the class and experts on different field. For me, as much as we could have, bring this expertise to the students and offer them this knowledge from the people who really master it, and with who people from who really choose it and love to be doing that. It's way better than giving them a boring lecture about it.
But my question is more, how do you find and rally all these experts? Like, do you just cast a wide net and hope that someone says yes? Or you seem to
I
be an expert at
like
connecting with these people.
for everyone that we get in class, for every successful story, there is like 50 or 60 failures. But remember, failures is not the end. It starts probably my approach to approaching people wasn't that good. Okay, let's try another and let's try another. And I remember one time with Mr. Brian Vaughan, who was the robot, used to be the robotic teacher at Westwood. uh, I saw like the stars of the ear sketch, how to use Python for music stuff, and that wasn't even public at that time. It was just the first month start of the program, and I tell him, okay, I'm thinking I'm going to contact them. I want to get the resource to teach that in the class. He tell me they will never answer you. It's just why are you wasting your time? And I sent them the email, and we were in the teacher convention, and I received the email back, and Mr. Bond was there. Look, they they are sharing with me the resources. So you never know. If I didn't do it, it will never happen. But if I do it, it could happen. It could fail, but who cares? At least we try to trigger things to make it happen, and that's for me the there is no frustration when I try something and it's failed. I tell you, failure is the start. So it's all the time. We regenerate from our failure like a phoenix and try again. So that's how I see it. It's being positive, trying. Multiple try could give one success, and for me, it's good. No problem.
When did you kind of realize that playing that facilitator role can be like as important, if not more important, than actually lecturing and teaching? Because I'm, from my understanding, like as a new teacher, like if I were a new teacher, I would be thinking like I need to give my students the best, the lecture I can, or give them the best, resources myself personally. So when did you kind of realize? Was there a moment that clicked for you that you can think back to, or you had somebody in, or a student really connected with somebody who wasn't yourself, and you saw that playing that facilitator role is very important as well?
I think it's come naturally by trying different ways. I try different things, and from the experience. It's my 31st year as a teacher, so I try different approach, and I finally get the conclusion that instead of trying to teach the average student in the middle of the normal curve and
Hmm.
sacrificing the both end,
Right.
I rather the average student and the very good student could all the time be successful. We are in 21st century. Like I don't think Muhammad Ali were there, but with cherish using EDZ for Project STEM with Amazon support, you have the full resources online, all cloud based. Like 80% of my students will be working on their own without need of anything because that, and the 20% who will be struggling, I would could consider and giving them more time and giving them more support.
Well,
And for me, it's not only the struggling one, but also the very smart one, because the very smart one gets bored very easily. And for me, those are also very important. Taking them, encouraging them, coaching them, pushing them to go beyond. And I tell them to my student that there is no roof in the room. The limit is the sky. And if the sky is not your limit, you could go to the next galaxy. I will be here to support you as much as I can. So I want the very talented one to go as far as they can, light speed, and I want the struggling one to succeed. And I don't want the average one to be sacrificed. So it's all the time taking care about every single component in this class and making sure that that success is there for everyone. And we are not talking about the same success because, for some very talented one, getting 100% on a quiz or on the test, for me, it's not the goal. If they are too smart, why are we stopping ourselves in them answering a multiple choice questions?
Right.
Why not seeing them shining like seeing Cherish, Saptarshi, and decent uh, top six in university level competition when they were 15 years old? For me, it's a wonderful thing. So that's what I want. I mean about we don't just close in concrete and make the same things for everyone, because not everyone is the same and not everyone need is the same. And teacher, I think, and especially in the computer science field, we need to differentiate, because we have students who are starts at Westwood at grade 7 who are already university level when they are junior high.
Yeah.
How could we lead them like a student grade 9 this year? One of them win a medal in the science fair, national with a machine learning project. Another one win a hackathon with the machine learning project. Those will be in grade 10 next year in my class. For me, it's a headache now to what to do with them and what to prepare for them.
Yeah.
How to, how to serve them better so they continue, they don't stop there. Because if they stop there, it will be waste. 3 years without growing and without going forward, it's such a waste, especially for very talented students.
Was there ever a fear, like maybe early on in your career when you were kind of adopting this, more freedom mindset and giving students the room to explore, that some of the students, especially the ones that were less self-motivated, would be left behind and they would kind of just dilly-dally instead of, maybe pushing themselves to a point where they could? So how do you find that balance between being a facilitator and pushing them and motivating them and giving them that freedom to try and explore?
You see it in their eyes and you see their need in their eyes, and you are in the class with them every single day. So you are all the time having, okay, is there anyone left behind here? Who could I help? Who do you need me to help or to push? And that's for me. Like first time I had like a autistic kid in my class was like, in my computer science class was like 6, 7 years ago. Now I have every single autistic kids in the building in my class.
Wow.
Why? Because the success that we get with those students with their special need, they come with the special talent, but also with the special needs. And we need to accommodate for them. So when you have them in your class and you try to find a way how to trigger their happiness to learn computer science and trigger their willingness to go forward and everything. And believe me, it's become so much a success story that it's become automatically that every single special need kids is in computer science class. But every single uh, high flyer is also in the computer science class.
Right.
And have we to treat them the same way? It's like giving everybody the same shoe size.
Mm.
Is it correct to give them all the same shoe size? Some will be okay, but some will be suffering, and it's not. So we need all the time, like make a fit for everyone in that class and make the success of everyone, every single one, as a target, our venue, our way to go.
Mr. Saeed, you said it's been 31 years of teaching. Um, what's next? You've won all these awards, have kids that have went on to do such great success, started a makerspace in your own school. What is next? What's the next challenge for you or next step in your career or life in general?
For me, it's probably making sure that this could continue, that we could have a training of other teachers to take this and go forward with this. I try my best communicating with some education departments, because obviously you could imagine that they are doing things not the right way, especially in the computer science field. No teacher is trained to teach computer science as a specialty, when computer are the machine who create the most wealth in the planet. We have training for science, for math, but there is no specific training for computer science. And that's, I think it's really, really a bad thing. Every university I saw in those big, equipped, funded university, they have a computer science department, they have education department, but the communication between both is not working good.
Right.
So who?
Training teacher to be specifically training to be a robotics or computer science teacher is something that needs to be considered.
Mm.
In every school, they are seeing on new teacher, new graduating teacher, some younger people who are going to come with computer science and technology and robotics, but they don't. They are not trained for.
Right.
It's like this idea we had like 10 years ago in school. If I put a computer lab, everybody will be good at computer science. No. If you don't train them the right way, they will not.
So from everyone you know in Fort McMurray right now, from all the teachers, who is best equipped to replace the great Mr. Saeed?
Uh, not I will not be going with names or anything, but just somebody who is happy to learn, somebody who is curious, somebody who is having this empathy and a good relationship with the student, and I think everything else will be just technical training, and the technical training for me is the less problematic. Those are very, very, very key of success. You remember the four key. Failure is not a problem. Empathy, open, like projects who are products oriented, and also freedom of choice of the kids. Those are four things that are really, really major things that we should consider. And for me, I didn't even notice those four things. So I'm not coming to tell you, oh, I knew it and I was doing it by the book. Few years ago in 2017, I think, University of Kansas was doing study about our program, why our program is so successful and so, and Professor Yang Zhao and his team, they done lots of research. It's like 2 years research with our myself student. I was interviewed like there's like 8 interviews, so it's lots of things, and discussing with those education people. Like when we talk about Professor Yang Zhao, more than 30 books. Professor in very, very well-known university, consultant for very, very successful programs and hundreds of articles and everything. So one of the summit of the education worldwide. And when you discuss with those well-skilled people in education, and they try to tell you, look, in your way of teaching, there is this and this and this and this and this. Oh, really? I didn't notice, but you start paying attention. And that's for me, that's how. And the whole things is in a chapter in the book they publish, and there is a title like the teacher who accidentally created a miracle, and the accidentally was because we start with broken machines and with $0 for the budget. So that's how we start.
Just going back quickly to what you said about training more teachers specifically on computer science and this type of field. I guess kind of like looking into that, like there's a big appeal like to go into FANG companies or to some sort of startup, and that economic draw that students of computer science have. So like what do you think that society or universities in general can do to try and push that love for teaching? Because people like yourself, like Mr. Saeed, like or not Mr. Saeed, like Mr. Ahmed, who have that love for teaching, and like it comes across like very strongly in their classrooms. How do you think you can develop that love for teaching within computer science students so we can have the next generation of teachers?
Oh, no, statistically, those are not the majority of people. And if you want to solve it statistically, you need to train lots of people to get some
Oh,
some stay in and not go into the technology field.
mm. So it's just a game
And
of
that's
numbers.
it. Like in instead of training five, and you find out that four of them went to the industry. Let's train 50, and if they go to the industry, it's still a benefit for university and for everyone, because there will be workforce for the economy. I know some CEOs and founder of companies who are moving to USA because they don't find talent here to hire. It's there is not enough talent in the field, so we need to be very looking forward for this, and all the expertise we are creating will be helping our students, but also will be helping our economy.
Right. Yeah.
And like Krish now, Mr. Landry, didn't want to. The training was done in school, so when you train well, some teacher, the training will be like going like oil drop propagating in the building. So if you have two, three trained, they will train. Five, seven others. So that's how we need to be thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you often keep up with like students who have graduated and are currently still in the technical in the tech sphere and doing great things. What role do you think this plays in inspiring like current students, and how often do you try and bring them back to speak at your classes?
Okay, Tuesday I had Drew Van Devani in the room, and my first block class benefits from them being there and talking to them about their journey. When you have a student who already created a very successful startup, and he's a CEO and founder, and he just graduated in April, and it's a success story. And when you have a very talented student like Devani, who was invited by Prime Minister for the Prime Minister Science Fair, who done some amazing stuff, who is starting his startup and in California, that's another thing. And when you have like a student like Anna Rizvi, who was invited to the Google headquarters, and she came to Westwood last year to talk to girls in our computer science program. Today, I had two students. We had the Tech Spark in school. This was a full day event organized by Women in Tech, and two students, former students from Westwood, were there talking to grade 4, 5, and 6 about their journey with science and technology, and that's for me. It's all the time. It's a part of the. If I'm trying to reach to experts from different field that I don't know, do you think I would be forgetting to contact the students I know that we live together a few years, and I know their high level talent, expertise in for me it's all the time. Every student who come to visit, I will use him to help out and to talk to actual students about what to take on consideration, what will be the key of success, what will be the things to be really aware about before going to the university world. So that's
I'm curious, Mr. Said, what's your hottest take um, uh, in general? Do you know what a hot take is?
could you explain to me? My English is not that good.
A hot take is like an opinion that you have that not many other people like generally agree with, but you think to be true. Like it's like a controversial opinion.
Okay. For me, I think that the way computer science is taught at university or at high schools, in most part of it, it's not made for student success.
So,
Sometimes we try to make the adults happy about giving them the easy work, but not thinking about what would the benefit for the student. So that's very, very politically kind of tricky. But for me, if we put students forward, pushing the bar low is not a good thing. If we think about student interest in computer science, we need to prepare them for high challenges as young as they are. We need to start from elementary schools. The boring drag and drop code in things is not a good thing. It could be a start for some special needs student who really struggle with that. But come on,
I
having
would
a beautiful brain and very good potential and trying to minimize it to very robot skills is not the
I
way.
I would push back on that a little bit. You said we should start teaching like actual coding or computer science from elementary school, but don't you think that a lot of the creativity and problem solving skills that comes in art or anything else is just as important and can be applied to code later on if taught properly? And like also as AI tools come out, a lot of the skills in coding are effectively uh, like useless or automated. And so, is it still a good use of like students' time, even in elementary school, to learn coding?
Yes, and without any hesitation, because you could generate code questionable about the quality of the code. We have competition from the AI. Is the best way when you have a good competition is to stop competing, or is it to enhance the level of people?
Right.
So for me, I think that's uh, we need to improve our skills. We need to be better at what we are doing. Yes, machine could answer some question, but if we don't teach the mechanic for students on how it works, they will be good driver for a car, but if the car broke, they will not know what to do.
Right. I guess continuing in that vein, like as a computer science teacher, and you have like I guess a unique perspective here. What kind of challenges and benefits do you see with the future of teaching? With the advent of like AI, ChatGPT, and the new ones that we're seeing as they come out.
For me, I'm seeing that sometimes we are worried about things like when first video came, people were telling, oh, the video will replace the teacher in classes.
Right.
Then when it's become the internet in classes, oh, internet will be the next things, and the students will not be, you know, teaching, adjust and adapt to those tools and use those tools too. For me, it's instead of telling, oh, ChatGPT will be competing, let's teach the kids how to use ChatGPT very, very, very efficiently and very wisely. But we'll never stop teaching them how things are built, because even our artificial intelligence, it's created using our human production. If humans stop producing, the AI will not be going forward in their learning.
Right.
Data will not be there to support it. I think it's not going one against the other. I think they need to be going aside. And we need to adjust things to use those tools for the benefit of the learning.
So, if students use AI tooling in your assignments, do you consider it cheating?
Okay, if they use there is a lot of website, there is lots of open source things. Come on, everybody, even developer in company use them.
Yeah.
Understand? It's in coding. It's the real life.
So,
It's the
is it
real life to go to look at code and to modify and to improve. But look at this. When you go to whatever website, I'm not going to make publicity but if you go to whatever website with, oh, I'm struggling with this, and you find the code that do it, okay?
Yeah.
And you are enough skilled to adjust it and to modify it and to make it your own by adding your special need and special things for it. Is it a bad thing?
not at all?
See the chat GPT the same way. If you
Is
use this tool to generate some solution, But if you're enough skilled to go to take the solution and to improve them to make them better solution.
Is now the time to raise the bar though in your class? Now that you know that everyone can learn and do things much faster and easier, are you going to be, for example, marking harder or giving harder projects just to give the extra challenge?
Yes, of course, because that's the next step. They have better tool. Well, let's make the challenge even higher for them so that those tools could be used and their expertise could be used. Like if
Mm.
I go to Stack Overflow and I use the code and improve it, what is the difference than using ChatGPT? Come on, it's really it's happened in industry that people use those things,
Right.
Mm,
and I don't see it as a bad thing. Why the open source is way more performant than company who is closing everything.
right.
So this is what how I see it. I see it that we just need to adjust, but closing the class door against the chat GPT or any new tool, I think it's a bad idea.
Do you think that
I think
now that, I guess a society in general, we've lived through the internet revolution and we saw initially there was a lot of pushback. I mean, especially from educational institutions trying to block it out and see it as cheating and trying to stop it from being a part of the educational process. Do you think now we can learn that, or we will be able to learn from that and embrace ChatGPT and AI and stuff like this early on? Or do you think that we're still going to have a lot of those pitfalls and society will kind of fall back into the same mistakes that we made earlier?
education field is very conservative. I'm taking it that it will take time before it's accepted,
All right.
and it's sad. And you tell me what's my hot take? It's this. It's very conservative. When you try to evolve in very conservative environment, you need to be very, very careful.
Mm.
I had a virtual meeting with the CEO in Calgary. He was asking me about his kids and how he could benefit from our experience here for his kids because he was telling me that there is nothing similar happening there, similar to what we have here at Westwood. And one of the things that he told me as a comment was, I never expect to find in the education field somebody at this time thinking like this. I was expecting it in like 10 years uh, in the future, not now. And I'm very surprised that you are not fired from your job. So that was because he told me that in the industry, kind of, he could understand those thinking forward ideas, but in the education field, he's expecting he's expecting them in next 10 years, not now.
Right.
Speaking of Calgary versus like Fort McMurray, actually, Fort McMurray, the small city in northern Alberta, surrounded by nothing, is becoming one of the biggest producers of technical talent in the world. Um, what is the Fort McMurray phenomenon? Like, what drives it? Like, at its core, do you think it's you? Do you think it's like the fact that it's all immigrants in the city, it's mostly immigrants in the city, or anything else? What drives the Fort McMurray
I
phenomenon?
think I think there is lots of factors. I think like if we talk about any factor independently, it will not be the answer. Like if I tell that okay, this is the most immigrant, blah 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 blah. Okay, same population of immigrants at Westwood is at other schools. Why it's not happening in the other schools? Understand? But at the same time, is it an individual? I don't think so. I think we should return to the four key of success, adding to them very thirsty student to learn and to go forward in this field, adding to them that we work hard to get the makerspace to get things together so the environment is there, and also we don't need to forget about the support we get like Alzheimer helping school in northern Alberta. Why? Because they see the benefit and they see the results of our talent. Also, the success of students create more way for the coming students. Like when I come to my class and I know that in from that class there is three students already who already make it to Tesla and they are having position at Tesla, or students at Apple, and Chris, your brother is at Apple as a software developer, and there is lots of success stories happening. Those success stories are igniter of student willingness to go forward and to learn, and we have like this momentum that was created by old generation and the new generation, and it's going forward and going up and up.
Right.
And I'm thinking myself as one little component with all this big puzzle. But if you take anything from it, it will not be work.
Right. I kind of wanted to get your opinion on, I guess, a topic that's been discussed like in education broadly for a while now. When he spoke to Mr. Ahmed, he spoke about how over time, as Westwood has developed, and there's been more, like kids of immigrants who are often very, have that mindset of I need to get the grade, and they're very fixated on, getting a specific grade or having a specific achievement. Did you ever struggle with having, students in your classes who were very fixated on the grade, and whereas your class is very exploration based and trying to getting them to open up, kind of be willing to explore rather than looking for a specific test mark or something like that?
Okay, I will answer my question,
Sure.
and I will ask it to Koresh. Koresh, have you ever have any stress about mark in computer science class?
That's true. I didn't. You're
Good.
right.
And one time I received a student, Aditya, he sent me a message when he graduated during the COVID situation. And he told me, Mr. Said, I will miss your positive, stress-free, and full of learning class.
Right. So
So
do you
with
think?
this is coming from stress, the things that students will be trying to find out, blah blah blah, even wrong ways to try to get the mark is the stress of this mark going, blah blah blah. But look here, in computer science, there is no stress about marks, there is a stress about learning. My biggest problem in my class right now that it's like at the start of May, every student was already done the curriculum.
Right.
What to give them next? Have you ever seen somebody going to your physics teacher and telling him, no, this is not enough for me, I want more?
Yeah.
No, they want to cover the curriculum because for them the target is the diploma exam or the AP exam or whatever exam it is. Is the exam our target or is it the learning itself?
I agree. And I think this is one thing about Fort McMurray that works well. And I don't know if it would work in other places, but because everyone, especially at Westwood, is like high achievers, and a lot of classes they have to work hard to fixate on grades to get good grades. If you pull the chair on them, now they're completely free. Now they've been working so hard to get grades, but they don't have to worry about it, and that's where the true learning will occur. And like that motivation, that initial motivation for grades, like might have also been necessary um, to get this new like discomfort in learning computer science in Mr. Said's class.
I will give you an example that I have this year. It's Maxim, one of my students coming from Ukraine as a refugee. He starts in the class in February. He finished the whole curriculum for Python, almost finished the whole curriculum for Java. He kept asking me that he want to go forward with the learning artificial intelligence. But guess what? He starts his coding journey in February this year, 2023.
Oh.
And for me, he told me something that he told me that for him, the war and everything, it's a very bad experience. But he think that's the one very positive thing that happened to him. It's to come and be in this class because his dream was to learn those stuff. And guess what? He's translating every single assignment because his English is not good. Translating it to Ukrainian, solving it, then and imagine this efforts covering not only one curriculum, 1 year curriculum. In USA, the project STEM curriculum is a full year. It starts in September, finish in May. But he finished it in less than 1 month. Then start the next one, and he's almost finishing it, and he's thinking about what to do for the remaining time and also during summer.
Mm.
So there is no stress from Mr. Said about the mark. He already got all his marks. Who cares about the mark now?
Do you think
Those
if everyone,
extra miles, those extra miles, if we were doing it in math or in physics or in chemistry or in whatever, if student is the instigator of his learning, is the driver, and he want to go forward, and for him, what the curriculum give him is not enough. I want to get more and more and more. And imagine the education that will happen there.
do you think the same philosophy would work for any subject or all of them at once? Or do you think it's specific to your class in
Okay,
computer science?
I'm math lover. When I was in high school, my biggest interest wasn't the maths marks; it was the Olympic competition. And I think with you, the CCC or the is there any mark that you get from doing that? Is there learning from that? Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there challenge for doing that? Yes. But you do it for no mark price. You do it because you like it. And you could be doing the Euclid or any other competition because you like it. It's already happening. It's already there, but it's there with the very little percentage for very little percentage of students. Because we are not highlighting this, we are not celebrating this, we are just.
Right. So just before we end it off, I don't want to keep you for too long. Given all your life experiences moving from Morocco as an immigrant, as a husband, as a son, as a father, as a teacher, everything, what is one piece of advice that you could give to all the listeners? It doesn't have to be about education, just life in general. If you could give one piece of advice, what would it be?
I will tell that it's not easy. Like when I was coming, it's coming changing from two words. I finished my university in Morocco uh, in math. My mark wasn't that great. It was a 55%, but I was ranked the third in my university in the math, and we start 147 students. We finish at the fourth year eighth who graduated.
Wow.
I was ranked third in the eighth, and my mark was 55. The top mark was 65. When I came here, it was a complete different world. First, they didn't want to register me for a master degree in computer science. I was having no bachelor degree in computer science, though. So I start master degree without a bachelor degree, and I was trying to do it with this very low mark. And people tell you, no, it's not possible. But being perseverant, I persevere. I convince them to put me at a trial. They give me three different courses as a propedeutic. I done the three courses. I was supposed to be succeeding with the B grade in every single one. I finished with two B's and with A plus, and that was for me the start to do my master degree. I finished it with the 4.12 over 4.3. So in Quebec, it's not 4 GPA, it's
Right.
4.3. But it was like 96%. And during this, it was a very, very long journey, but perseverance was the key. Do not put your hand down. When you are changing from different word to new word, you need all the time to be perseverant. You need to be hard worker. You need to be doubling up work, and that's pay.
Wow. Well, I don't think there's any way to end it off better than that. So, thank you so much, Mr. Saeed, for coming on. I know you're busy and it's late now, but thank you so
Thank you for
much.
having me. Thank you for having me. Nice to see you.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Awesome. Well, everyone else, I hope you enjoy the show. Mr. Saeed just gave a master class on education, computer science, and what it's like to lead one of the best schools, in my opinion, in the world. But until next time, bye.
peace.